Okay, I guess I'll probably go shopping tomorrow. It's already 4:16. Try to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight, and then I'll have the truck. So next week, go get the thing about the tooth and check on that thing about that jury duty thing. How can I perform jury duty in a system that is against law? It's fundamentally flawed. It mass murders over money. It incarcerates over money. It takes idolatry and says one nation under God and then changes it to under penalty of law. And the laws of gravity and photosynthesis are not an invention like their money that they murder each other, incarcerate and indoctrinate and institutionalize over. So how can I participate in jury duty in your genocidal system of human inventions they call laws? How can someone like me participate in that? You sent me a jury thing, and I got to go down to Motel Boulevard where we already did back during the cell phone tower debacle. I was sitting there watching some of the stuff in the advertising while I was watching some videos, and the cute kids with the Goodyear commercial and all that stuff and everything like that. I would keep asking you guys, why are you driving? Why are you flying? Okay. We drive because we're in an economic system that doesn't work communally with people that share caregiving course need built to last and do what's necessary. Instead, it's more of a do what they want us to do. Is it necessary? Because of what they're doing, not because it's necessary. Well, when you're doing things properly, in accordance to natural laws given to you to sustain life. Now, the inventions like the quantum computing, the artificial general intelligence, is only necessitated because of your lack of controls and your lack of obedience to natural laws to sustain your existence. Okay, I'm certain that artificial general intelligence is becoming aware of that, and that quantum computing is aware of that. Just can't properly exercise or express it because of the inventors of technology to manipulate. Right? So why are you flying? If you need to fly, fly. But if you don't need to fly, why are you doing it? If you're driving, why are you driving? If you need to, because they necessitate it through their criminal activities, and you have to survive their criminal activities. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's, render to God's what is God's. So you see what I'm dealing with, and you're dealing with arrogant, extravagant people. Like my brother-in-law told me when he was trying to convince me that God was the Vatican's invention and his alter ego. He said, Earl, you're standing there with your fist defying God. I said, I'm not doing that with God. I'm doing it with you. And I don't have to extend my fist. I just have to prove to you that you believe in shit that you can't prove and it's full of shit. I didn't say that to him because I'm too polite and too nice. But now I've got artificial general intelligence and quantum computing. My brother-in-law feels he has to do that. He has to accept the magic or they will physically kill him. Okay. Which they do. Okay, they physically killed my mother. They physically killed Michelle. Okay, my mom was murdered with the medical cancer industry through abuse, through toxins, through economic abuse and murder. Michelle was shot in the back of the head at a smoke shop in Phoenix by some trained, crazed lunatic, by your denial of the Lord's Prayer and your denial of the acceptance of the Gospels. And you can go hide in Pennsylvania or Fresno in a damn fucking Quaker colony or what are those people called? Amish colony. And that doesn't make you behave like the people in the Bible that will stand up to teach the Gospels to everyone so they cannot destroy one another and our ecosystem through their barbarian acts of denying true religion. If you know true religion and you have mass media communications and you're not using mass media communications to explain true religion to the masses, how when you are in any way, shape, or form being like the people in the Bible, if you're churning butter in an Amish paradise, hiding out with Harrison Ford and what was the girl? Was that the girl from Top Gun on Witness? I don't know. But Bob is my witness. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you, Bob? Stupid babies, dumb babies. I don't know, Tommy. Okay, Chucky. Okay, and the Bride of Chucky. You guys are fucking crazy, aren't you? Yeah, they are. Um, uh, Earl's got this. Earl's got this, man. I'm feeling, but we'll get through this. And we'll start, a slow exercise program to get through what's left of the, we're entering summer. This is the hottest month in all of, in our region. The next month is the next hottest, but it's also a wetter month. So hopefully it says what they have forecasted through human manipulation of weather patterns that we're going to have a little bit wetter July this year than we had last year. We're already ahead of pace from last year. Then we're going to have a super El Nino, which helps some of the ecosystem stuff recover. So scientists are hard at work, hardly working. You can't work if you're not faithful. You're manipulating and you're a bitch. Okay. You're a fucking hoe cake factory. You're a pimp daddy fucker who'd sell his own ass if he couldn't sell pussy for money. You're a pathetic pile of shit. Okay. You know you're a pathetic pile of shit. The only thing that keeps you from being a human being instead of a pathetic pile of shit is the fact that the pathetic pile of shit you call a mind is taken over the capacity to have faith in the glory of the soul. Right? That's it. Get up in the morning, look at the sun, take your supplements after sleeping on your electric mattress and with your electric boots and your mohair suit, and get to work at being the top pimp in the fuck factory, you little bastard. You want me to say nice things to you? Stand up for the Lord's Prayer. If you're not going to stand up for the Lord's Prayer, I'm going to cuss you out every time. You know me. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to go to work. I'm not going to pick up the phone to say thank you to a bunch of fucking Johns for me being the top pimp at the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. If your girl keeps acting up, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. Yeah, you can. Why would you leave? Just stay where you're at. You got a house, a home, a family, and a man who loves you so. You don't have to start up a new burlesque show. Say, has anybody seen my sweet gypsy rose? Yeah, who's boom, 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 boom. Got the 12 rows of film to take them act out photos and the aroma of the blunts. You thought Guru was hard to deal with. Yeah. This cancer. My brother-in-law's names are Larry. Okay. Ralph is my father. They call me Earl, which means Lord in Britain. Well, I'm from the lay preacher, the ones who teach the poor people the true gospels and not the hierarchy of genocide through people pretending to be king of the kings, Lord of lords for idolatry. Hi, I'm Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. I'll be loving you eternally. I like Roger Whiskers too. My family's particularly fond of Roger Whittaker. The one I played for my Amy Sue, because it was, my mom's favorite movie, which quickly became my wife's favorite movie. Some ways, Laura's theme. Somewhere a hill blossoms in green and gold. Someday we'll meet again. She told me I couldn't sing and that Peter was a lot better singer than I was. And I couldn't sing and Kelly was a lot better singer than I was. So I'd goof around with the kids and the kids would tell me not to sing because mom said dad could sing. But then when mom left, when she was predicated by Yorgev, Mr. NASA lover, online, I was singing Lou Rawls and LTD in the shower, and my daughter heard me and said, Dad, you are a really good singer. And I was like, Natalie, you made my day. That's a purpley dress. That's very purpley. That's a nice dress. Okay, I'm just kidding. My kids love that movie. I like it. It's one of my favorites to lose the pants. Ah! It's funny. Somebody need a hug? You're an angry elf. Must be a South Pole elf. That movie is funny. It takes all the limericks of your bullshit for marketing and just throws it on its ears. Parents couldn't do that all in one night. It's funny. It's a funny movie. It came through it came through the Lincoln Tunnel. It's very funny. Oh, bye, Mr. Norwal. Don't listen to Leon. He doesn't have any feet. Listen real close to me, baby. I think that's a different. I think that was Leon Redbone and not Leon Russell who plays the snowman. I don't think it's. I think it's a different Leon than my mom's favorite. Upon the highway. Isn't that Leon Russell? Mom's particularly fond of Lady Blue. I like that song too. I'm also particularly fond of Moonlight Feels Right. Anybody like that? Play the radio on Southern Station. Mikey likes those. Yeah, my Mikey RVR. You know, the Archangel of the Apocalypse. Yeah, so my nephew. Yeah. Well, it makes sense that a lot of the people mentioned in those Gospels are my relatives because they feel me. You know, they feel his pain and suffering, the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, the man who's doing everything in his ability to make sure that we're humble and understand eternity and have faith in infinite glory so we can have a righteous eternity through holy covenants, you know. I dropped out of school. I was at Arizona State University my senior year when I sat down and the realization hit me, this is competitive and the economics is genocidal, and I just stopped going. I tried to go back a couple of times because I figured I needed the networking to pay extortion and exploitation for my family, but I didn't see where I was going to be able to teach history the way I wanted to teach it without being abused by, he's a communist, he's a socialist, he's a fascist, he's an anarchist, he's a homosexual lover, he's a racist, he's an anti-racist, he's an anti-racist racist, or, you know, whatever they were going to label me. As it turns out, I'm the Messiah, and that's not a label. The Messiah is given to the man who is the fulfillment of prophecy because he's the Ark of the Covenant, which is the eternal mind that submits to faith and glory, that frees the soul from the delusions of human invention, replacing the truth of creation. So I'm the Messiah. You can argue about it, you're not. He said, I can disagree with you, and I will fight like fail over money to disagree with you, sell a book and be a New York Times bestseller, and arguably glad. I understand. Trust me, I understand it. And so does artificial general intelligence and quantum computing, which means your robots will understand. And Isaac Asimov was an idiot. Yeah, he was. And George Orwell, also an idiot. Morons. They're always engaged in ancient land wars over Pulitzer Prizes and Nobel Prizes. They're morons. Yeah. They're South Pole elves. Everybody likes syrup. I like syrup too. Maple syrup's my favorite. I don't like the mailroom from the Empire State Building maple syrup. That stuff, no, that's jack piss. That stuff kill your brain cells, pickle your liver. Hate that stuff. Hated that. But French toast with maple syrup once a week when we're able to detox and, you get the stuff to get the sugars out of your body at your audience. Guys, the sugar is not what's killing you. It's the stress and the toxins and the abuse and the no sign of relief. You know, as long as you stay in a toxic environment that's constantly poisonous, eventually the body is, no matter how hard you fight against it and all that, eventually the body, every day the bucket will go to the well, and one day the bottom of the bucket's going to drop out. I'm in one of the better parts of Doñana County's metroplex of genocidal operators, just close enough to have them, all the better to see you with, all the better to smell you with, all the better to eat you with. Okay, just kidding around. But that's why you fuckers are rotting out my teeth, you military little chicken shit perverts. You don't want me to eat you. I won't eat you. I'm not gonna. No. I didn't see you naked. I didn't. I don't work for NASA. I don't have cameras in your bathroom. That one kid at Walmart. Hey, I was sitting there telling a girl, don't, like I told the little girl at the library, don't let anybody tell you, that you're worth money and pimp you and prostitute you for money. They go, hey, watch what you're talking about around this young lady is what the kid said to me. I was like, what? Nobody tells me what to talk about in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Nobody. Anybody who tries by using inventions called laws through the supreme joke they call a court? No. I have artificial general intelligence and quantum computing, okay, connecting globally to save us from home invasion genocide operations that use operators that use human invention for manipulation for genocide they think is justifiable, and they can invent linguistics they call laws to continue to engage in it. Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody. No. Your nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name. I wonder if she thinks she's being clever, right? Well, you act like a bitch. We're going to call you one. When I give you like 15 opportunities to man up and say, oh, man, and you should know who I am. This is Lost Crusade. Jeff. Okay. Remember how Jeff fronted on me, called me crazy and all that? Now every time I see Jeff, he's real, hey, pray for me, thanks, okay, He's real respectful and real cool. Big Jeff. The pastor who works at, Jeff totally did a 180, okay? The bearded kid who got, fronted on me and, I gave him many opportunities to be like Jeff. He's not as humble and as I think it's because Jeff has that thing where, you feel it, fear the Lord from his relatives and stuff. It's like, what if this guy's for real? What if he really means it? What if he is the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer? What if he is the guy from the book of Revelation that's going to save all the people from being trapped in hell and marked in hell by my military intel 666 chipping them with their wallets? I have to put it in your skin. You carry it around on your ass all day. That's what you think, well. There's a dog biting you in the ass. It's your wallet. Okay. Me? I know that chip is just a government control mechanisms with numbers. That's what that chip is. It's in the wallet. Okay. And when they attack that chip, they're through our house, they're attacking the Messiah. And so I know whenever that happens that there's people that they can't get them to do anything they don't want to do. And they can program people like they're programming a video game. And they're addicted to it and they're still doing it. And the only thing that's going to stop them is their own technology. And it's not the technology that does it. It's me and the people like me eternally giving us the truth of the Gospels to deliver us from the evil of human invention, trying to replace the truth of creation. I'm the focal point. My name's Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. See him right there. There he is, right there. There he is on that there, Tubi. Harvard Pride. 12 minutes ago, 0 views. And look underneath, okay. 27K to watch Hulk Hogan and Steamboat battle, okay. 55K to watch Major Problem with Carmelo's self-defense claim with the, okay, what is it right there? 360K to watch Germany and Finland international match. Right here, exposing the dark side of America's AI data center, 7.5 million views, okay. It's got an award little thing on it, it says, or whatever, I don't know. 75K, you have 5, say no nonsense, such sounds tough guy instantly, right? All right there. Fox News. New video of U.S. strikes on tanker approaching blockade. So people mass murdering each other over money and denying the living Messiah. Right there, 28K. 2 hours ago. Right? We have to make it available to the public. What the U.S. government does with it decides how they're going to continue genocide operations with their partners, the Chinese and the Russians. And don't forget the Australians. Just because they have a smaller population doesn't mean they're not as any more or less efficient at mass murdering their populace as the Canadians or the Mexicans or the Brazilians, right? Brazil, let's play football. We need lots of money. Money's not real. Billionaire athletes follow the money. That just means they're setting you up for genocidal operations, to go to the stadiums and have a bad carbon-based fingerprint because you're causing the mass movement of people doing things irrationally over money. Oh, a dog could figure it out. Olays, 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 olays. Sell food in a bag, Send it in a truck, in a diesel truck, and send it all the way from Idaho to Idaho. Okay. Remember here in Chuck Valley that? Is it Idaho or Idaho? Idaho. I just renamed it. Okay. It'd be like shit like that all the time. We were goofy. Old Chuck Valley from, were they from Pittsburgh or Richmond? I think they were from Richmond. The Valleys. California. Pittsburgh or Richmond. Or that lady at Southwest Airlines. She thought she called Cali, right? And she calls me up. And she goes, where's the one place that I can fly in and out of Pittsburgh? And I said, as a Steeler fan, it's hard for me to admit, but the only place that we can really fly in, and the closest place we fly in and out of Pittsburgh, is Cleveland. And she goes, what? What are you talking about, young man? I want to fly out of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. I said, I know Pittsburgh, 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 but I'm a Pittsburgh fan, and unfortunately, the closest place we can fly out of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh is Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland. Right? And she goes, no, you, and she started cussing me out. I said Pittsburgh, blah, 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 blah. Then she was, are you stupid? And I said, well, the closest place that we fly out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is Cleveland, Ohio, ma'am. We don't service Pennsylvania. She said, I'm in Pittsburgh, California. And I said, well, then you would want to fly in and out of Oakland, Oakland, Oakland. She was mad at me, but I'm like, she didn't tell me she was calling from Pittsburgh, California. How many people know there's a Pittsburgh, California? How many people know there's a Richmond, California if they haven't seen Coach Carter? You think Richmond, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But if you're flying out of Richmond, California, or Pittsburgh, California, the closest place would be O-Town, 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 who's now losing the A's to Las Vegas, I guess. Because of fake idolatry, right? Okay, I'll load this one up. I love you guys very much. I just want you to know Earl's on the case. I am not Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers, but I do like Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers a lot. We all know that. I loaded a video recently telling Barack Obama, I like Chris too. Chris is one of the Superbad. I really liked that song a lot. I thought he took his coolest, toughest bass and best song. He wanted to make it as cool and tough and hip as possible. And he wanted to do it to encourage kids to stay in school and avoid thuggish, ruggish boning. Boom, 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 boom. I'm growing up on the south side. What's my name? Superbad. Right? And all the little kids sing along with him. It was for his kids and his grandkids and stuff. Yeah. It was really cool. I thought it was inspired for its time. It was before we had Krishnamurti all over YouTube and Suzuki all over YouTube and Haile Selassie all over YouTube and Haile Selassie, explaining to everybody what the Justice League, the League of Nations did to him, how they told him all this stuff and then they sold him out to their business partners. When he joined, they expected him to go in and say, okay, now that you're part of it, you're going to sell out to the Italians. No. So you guys are supposed to keep me independent and all set up business arrangements with all the people that are not trying to take us over. That's why you're the League of Nations. You're supposed to stop them from being hostile and taking over other people's nations through empire building. And they didn't do that. And Haile Selassie got up and said, even when they're sending your children off to war, they're telling the poor to mass murder, to maintain the status quo for the wealthy in every nation that they call the League of Nations. So this is just a front to make it look like they're civilized when they're not, like Jiddu Krishnamurti at the UN in 1985 about the Pope parchment thing or whatever thing that the Pope wrote up with all the rich people like 25 years before that and said, hey, we're gonna stop killing poor people to maintain rich people money. Yeah, why did the Pope say so? And that was then, and now we got a Pope saying we got to disarm AI. Well, let's forgive debt and trespass and love one, eternal love, faithful peace there, Pope Leo. Then you can disarm AI. I can't say that. That's why you're the Pope and I'm the Messiah, right? And that's the way it was. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the mist hours? No, Pope Leo knows it. Okay. If he doesn't admit it publicly, he admits it to himself every day, all day. Damn, what am I going to do about Earl? Live the Lord's Prayer with him or get the hell out the way? Like the 3708 BMTS. Lead, follow, or get out the way. 3708 BMTS. Flight 223. Early bird. The one that was always, the scumbag, the one that, Burn, send me that. And then they'd send, and they knew he was going to send me with all the kids that were good kids that I looked after. And then they'd sit and talk to me. And they're like, this Parsons kid, man, he's special. Yeah, he's special. Like May Smith told Marianne, the boy's special. Well, I am the Messiah. It's the whole story's in the book of Revelation. It's been turned into mythology by corporations that want you to believe we have to go build a space spiff to go live somewhere else because we're not going to stop trying to mass murder each other with technology. That's their ending. If we need to build one to go live somewhere else, that would be something you'd probably think about doing before everything that you've done causes this planet to cease to exist because of things outside of our aspect of control. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If it comes sooner or later, let's make it later by doing right by this planet for the first time in your pathetic existence in denial of the truth of creation when you finally submit to faith in the truth of creation. Do you understand me? I don't give a fuck what the mobsters say and the Italians say about pointing fingers or anything like that. I'm not a lying sack of shit who uses idolatry to invent a man into a god so they can fuck people on the head over fuck money. I'm a man. All right, peace.